Good afternoon, everyone. I am Shannon Rutherford, the town planner. We are going to start with a roll call of our Farmington Historic District Commission members. I've got Jim Calciano.
Here.
Joanne Lawson.
Here.
Michelle Phelan.
Here.
Jay Bombara.
Here.
Liz Gemsky.
Here.
Henry Pertil.
Here.
Ted Sanford.
Here.
And I will note for the record that Cliff Mix is absent this evening, so we can appoint an alternate this evening.
I'll appoint Henry to take the place of Cliff for today. And with that, I'll call the meeting to order of the Farmington Historic District Commission. And we have a public hearing to start, so I'll ask the secretary to read the notice.
Thank you. Notice is hereby given that the Farmington Historic District Commission will hold a hybrid in-person and online public hearing on Tuesday, July 15, 2025 at 5 o'clock in the Town Hall Council Chambers on the following application. RFX signs application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to replace signs at the Noah Wallace School located at 6 School Street. Interested parties are encouraged to participate in this hybrid public hearing. Participation in person is at 1 Monteith Drive, Town Hall, Town Council Chambers, or online participation is via the link to the meeting on the Town of Farmington's website. A copy of this proposal is available online or by calling the Planning Department at 860-675-2325, dated at Farmington, Connecticut, this 26th day of June, 2025.
Okay, with that, if somebody is here representing the applicant, could you come to the podium, or if you're online, state your name and address for the record?
Yeah, we were expecting him in person, so if you wanna,
Yes, it's me.
you got it. This is definitely not your first rodeo. So.
No. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Matt Ross. I'm the Director of Finance and Operations for the school district. I'm also a Unionville Historic District member, commissioner as well. So I'm going to speak to what I know at this point. Lauren was definitely much more knowledgeable in the construction of the signs, but we are looking to upgrade and replace signs at all of our schools. Noah Wallace being in the historic district, we come before you tonight to kind of go through what our proposal is. We have 2 signs at Noah Wallace. You can see a small image of the existing sign there. We're looking to update that sign, replace it with a sign depicted here with an image of the school and the inset. The materials, basically all of the signs that we're looking at will be painted with an epoxy white for durability, so that hopefully the only maintenance that we'll have to conduct on a yearly basis would be a quick power wash or a scrub, with a potential repaint every 8 to 10 years. We stuck with the green color, similar to the existing sign that was there. The reason for the image of the school was the other schools, we did use a mascot image, but the mascot of Noah Wallace is the Rockets, and it's kind of hard to get that nicely onto a sign. So we stuck with what was similar to what was on the existing sign, which was an image of the building. The second sign is, this sign is to be located the corner of Church Street and the entrance to the school. The second sign is a directional sign. Visitors to the building do not enter through the actual front of the building. They enter through the rear. The main office is located there. And so we're looking to provide some directional signage for folks so that they know how to enter the building. And similarly, colors, an arrow, and a wrought iron hanger.
Did you say what's the material for the sign itself?
He listed as HDU. That I think it's a composite, I believe.
Correct.
It's not wood.
It is not wood.
Anything else you want to say before I ask the commissioners a question?
Nope.
Okay. Ted, do you have any questions or comments?
I think HDU stands for high density urethane. And I think it's a composite that looks pretty much like wood.
Correct.
I don't have any objection to it. I have No other comments.
Henry?
Yeah, similar question. Do you know if these components are hollow or is it a solid block of material?
There is something that they're inserting on the inside. I do recall him mentioning that at TPZ, that so there will, there will be new footings poured so that it's securely grounded.
But the HDU itself, is that like a solid block of material similar to AZEC or something like that? Or is it like, hollow like some of the?
I
synthetic fencing?
honestly don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the post, I'm just gonna read and help a little bit because I've been back and
Ah.
forth with Lauren.
Here's somebody who might be able to help. They want to know if it's hollow. The posts are hollow.
Hang on one second. So, but you could make it. You just, give your name and address.
Yep. For the record, my name is Matt Haskell. It's 27 Britton Drive for Artifacts.
Okay. Yeah, we did just get an introduction to it. We were just asking questions. So, I don't know.
Yeah. We do apologize because Mountain Road was closed and then Nod Road was a nightmare getting here.
Okay.
No worries.
We're familiar.
Henry, did you want to, Ted, did you want to ask your question first? Because you had a question.
Well, we were talking about what HDU stands for and does it look like wood?
Oh, could you also?
Hi, Lauren Rosen, Artifacts. Sorry to take over, but I know the fabrication. I was just on Nod Road for about 2 hours, catching my breath. Yeah, so HDU stands for high density urethane, which is essentially a very dense foam product. We used it on Miss Porter's. Originally, when we did the sign in 1987, we used mahogany. Second time around, we used the high density urethane. And really, the end effect is in how it's finished. Does it have a low luster finish? Is it a consistent finish? And that's really what we aim for. Most typically with this type of sign, and I brought packets for all of the signs that we're doing in Farmington. We use 1/8 inch aluminum plate. It's all welded fabrication with a welded frame. In this case, because it's a historic district, we opted to use the solid foam. The poster called out as 5x5 cedar. More typically, we would use 5x5 aluminum. Again, it's in the finish. If we were to paint, say, cedar or mahogany versus, let's say, aluminum, not so much steel because it has radius corners, the end effect is pretty much identical. But what's nice about this sign, the old schoolhouse, we're going to paint by hand. And either if I have any spare time, I might paint it, or a good friend of mine who's a fantastic artist will be painting that. And you'll see the brush strokes. You'll know it's painted by hand. It's not going to be printed. The letters are raised. Typically for a raised letter, we would use 1/2 inch acrylic. And I think here we called out HDU. My preference would be to use the acrylic because it has a tight finish. Again, not to be redundant, but it's more in the finish than it is in the material. So the finish we aim for, we use an automotive epoxy, which typically is very glossy if it's sprayed right out of the can. But in the case of what we do, we add flattener. So the end product is a low luster. It's an eggshell finish, which we refer to as an architectural finish. Our main concern was the style of the sign. Does it fit the area? Are you happy with it? Are you happy with the sign that's on the building? In our opinion, we felt it was in keeping, but that's our opinion. And we'd like to see what your opinion is.
To that answers your question, or do you?
Well, yes, and that I think Miss Porter's signs look like wood, so HDU must look like wood.
It does, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
And then Henry,
That answered all mine as well.
it
Yeah,
did.
thank you.
Liz?
Just disappointed we're not using the rocket on the sign, but
You know, we had the rocket
yeah.
and it was very clever. It was a freestanding rocket. I liked it, but
Michelle?
No, and my only other observation is the sizing is very similar to what's there, a smidge bigger, but that's it. Looks good.
I like the design and I'll be looking at it every day. So, question, is it double-sided? What's on the other side?
this one is, yeah, there's not much traffic that comes the other way,
I like the.
but it's an exposed face. So it will be double faced.
The image also will be on both sides? The image. is-
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Question.
I'm sorry, I have no questions for you.
Yeah, it'll look all handmade and very authentically wood.
Right. I'll just point out a couple things. One, the existing sign is in the front, if you will, of the school where the buses pull up, right? So that sign is what's gonna happen to that sign? That's being removed?
No, my understanding is it's staying, having coordinated with some of the other individual, Matt's been on some of the emails, but there's two others at Board of Ed. So that sign is staying as
So
is.
there's no plan to change that. That's okay.
No, sir.
Good.
Not at this time.
Yeah, they can say that it's a nice sign. The second is the other sign, which again, I don't want to overstep our jurisdiction here, but and the blue arrow, I mean, that just seems to be kind of, I don't know.
The reversed out arrow, the white
Well,
on blue.
Why blue and why that particular? I don't know.
Well,
You could put-
you know, it's funny, there's a history there. Why blue? And I'm asking myself now, in retrospect, seeing it, you know, a month later after the design was hatched, why blue? Originally, the signs were blue because most of the signs that we're doing in town are blue. And there was a thought that that shade of green was a little more palatable, easier on the eyes. But I felt that because the arrow was a directional and it had to be seen, the blue had a higher contrast factor. Looking at it, it can be black.
We don't actually handle color, so I suppose I can tell you what color to make it, but it did just seem. And what about just the arrow itself? You ever seen the, this again, don't feel that strongly about it, but the old printer's pointer where the guy's hand, you can see the hand. You ever seen those?
Yeah, they're very nice. It's just, you know, pointing downward.
Yeah,
It might
just
be a bit
looking-
odd.
It would look odd pointing down.
Yeah, unless you showed more of the arm. But
I mean, I looked, I mean, I don't know if anybody else really cares.
I like them. I don't know if this is the
No.
perfect,
It could look, I mean, that's a small arrow.
All right. I mean, I'm not gonna push that. That's, anybody else have any concerns about that? All right, do you want to poll the public and see if there's any questions or comments?
Sure. If anyone is called in online to offer comment regarding the application for Noah Wallace School at 6 School Street, please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom and you'll be acknowledged to address the commission. Again, if anyone else is called in to offer comment regarding the Noah Wallace application at 6 School Street, please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom. You'll be acknowledged to address the commission. Mr. Chair, there are no hands raised.
Anybody here? Anybody else? No. One more thing before we look for a motion. There was actually that other sign as well. Yeah, right there to the left.
oh, you
That's
know,
being
that's
removed.
history. That shows what it would have been before. I think it's still there. We're gonna remove that.
That is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the existing signs showing, and there is a small arrow there, Mr. Chair, that's supposed to direct. But I think what they're finding is because it's located, if you will, in from the edge of the building, new parents and that are coming into the school are having difficulty understanding and orienting themselves. So they thought the hanging sign with the directional arrow, and even though it's at the corner, but the door is just in off of that side, you can see where they're walking in to get buzzed into the school. So the thought is to move that sign off to the corner so that it's helps perhaps better direct. And that's also the reason for the new sign at that entrance, because that is the parking area for parents and teachers.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the sign?
I make a motion that we approve the sign as shown. To give a temporary certificate.
Of approval. Right. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there further discussion on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign? Hearing none, motion carries. You're all set.
Thank you. And thank you, Shannon, for helping us out with all the forms.
Okay, that's actually it for public hearings, although under old business, we have Jack Kemper. With regard to the 7 Church Street, there's a modification to the garage elevation, garage doors for the new home at 7 Church Street, Mr. Diesel's home. Jack, do you want to come up and identify yourself and tell us what you want to talk about? Fine, please.
Either one is fine. You just have to speak into the microphone.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, but you do have to speak into the microphone so it gets picked up on the recording, please.
Okay, Jack Kemper, Kemper Associates Architects, and you've seen this house several times. We've come up, and Tad Diesel is here, the owner. As we've been preparing to start construction, we've had grading plans done. And one of the issues that we've come up with is that the driveway that they first came up with is going downhill a little bit. So we were trying to raise the garage a little bit, which has the added effect of having it fewer steps from the house. So what we want to do is raise the garage by 1'4". And what that does is originally we had transoms over the garage wind doors.
So this is the original elevation that's on the screen right now.
Yeah. So what we've done is we've left everything alone. We didn't want to fool with the height and not have it get too big. So what we've done is raised the floor of the garage, and you see we've changed the garage doors, and we have glass on the top of the garage doors rather than the transoms above. And that's our big change.
And so the door style stays the same, correct, Mr. Kemper?
Yes,
So
yes.
this, it's this,
If
the
you scroll
panel.
through, Shannon,
Yep.
yeah, the door stays the same. The only difference is we're adding those windows in the top panel.
So that window,
And I think those are a nice vertical proportion to those windows, the 4 count, so that's what we've chosen.
Okay. Joanne, do you have any questions or comments?
So let me just repeat, you're changing the doors so that the windows are in the doors rather than above?
Correct.
Okay, I couldn't see it when I couldn't tell what I was looking at. Okay.
No question.
No questions.
no,
Henry?
So the overall size of the door is remaining the same. We're
The
just
door stays the
deleting
same.
our transom windows, moving the whole assembly up. We wanted to keep the E line consistent going around. Okay. And rather than just raise the garage.
No questions.
What do we need, if anything?
just, I would do a motion second so that this is, that the change is approved. So no different than as if they've come in for new building materials. So similar to what we did in May, when they came in for all the building materials, that it's just, that this change is approved.
Okay.
It's not, and that it gets added in really, it's for the temporary certificate of appropriateness. It already was approved back in March.
So you're not,
So it's just a building material.
you're not looking for a motion, or you are? looking
I prefer,
Oh, okay.
we can do a motion in a second and that we're approving the material change, the garage door change.
All right, so do we have a motion to approve the change to the temporary certificate of appropriateness to reflect the proposed doors?
I'll make a motion to approve the change to the garage doors. The temporary certificate of appropriateness to implement that change.
Is there, I have a second. Further discussion on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. You're all
Thank
set.
you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Real
Thank
quick,
you.
Why is it a temporary certificate of appropriateness?
Technically, it doesn't
good
become
question.
official until it's
You can revoke.
constructed and we
Oh,
sign
oh, oh.
off, so.
Oh,
They do it. Unionville just calls it a certificate of appropriateness, but it's. Great. I'm sure you're anxious for that,
Yes.
perhaps more than I am, but
thank you.
that's
all.
fine.
All right, thank you.
Have
Okay,
a great afternoon. Thanks for coming in.
the next order of business is St. Patrick's Church for 110 Main Street, replacement of spotlights for sign.
Yep, I'm gonna handle this one,
Okay.
sir. So you'll recall St. Patrick's Church came in to change their sign in February. These are the photos that were part of it. The updated sign is shown here. They changed to Our Lady of Knock Parish with the St. Patrick Church noted below. As part of that, their formal application material noted the spotlights were going to be changed. They had submitted something, this is actually what they had submitted. I don't believe Father Gorick actually formally presented the spotlights to you all, but nonetheless, it had been part of their package. And you can see in the photos, there had been spotlights here, one to each side. So the intent is to replace in kind. Now, with that said, that is what they had submitted as part of the application. This style light, which is around 15-watt LED light, was submitted along with this. And I can't get this one to scale down for me. It's coming in a little differently. It is a more rectangular light. It is still 15 watt. It has a color temperature of 3000 Kelvin. Apparently the electrician has purchased this light already. I told him it's whatever the commission feels is appropriate. So it is a replacement of existing light. It is in my building permit application for an electrical permit to swap out the lights. So since we had to go through all this, I figured I would bring it to you and let you decide if you have no preference, that's fine. I'm probably inclined to let him install what he has already purchased. If there is a preference on the commission's part, that is fine as well, obviously. So
So
that's what we've got before us.
I'm a little slow on the uptake today, admittedly. So you're saying they want to put these lights in instead of the square lights, or they want the square lights?
The square lights are already purchased. The church doesn't care. They just want the light lit, the sign lit. The church doesn't care. The electrician already purchased these lights. He uploaded both, so I was confused to say, I don't know, which one are you installing? And the round one obviously mimics what had been sent in as part of their
Right.
package.
But the square ones are more like what's there.
The square is more similar to, whoops, I got ahead of myself this way. The square is more similar to what is there.
Wonder why they spent money on new lights, but it's up to them.
The lights never, I don't think the lights work.
Well, correct. So that's why, so the lights haven't worked. So,
That's a good reason to replace it.
so they need to be replaced and the whole thing being rewired, thus the electrical permit, because they couldn't just swap it out.
All right, well, I guess I'll just quickly poll everybody to see if anybody cares, but do you care?
Oh,
I don't care.
Fine with it.
The clear consensus is no preference for either light, so if they wish to use the ones that are purchased, that's fine.
I think you should be able to see the sign so you know to turn down the road, which is good. Especially in the winter.
All right,
Thank you very much.
that brings us to the staff report.
Staff report. I actually have a few things. So the first one is Hillstead Museum. Hillstead Museum has an application in front of our Inland Wetlands Commission because a good portion of this field area is within the is a wetland, and there's a culvert that runs under the Hillstead driveway and ultimately flows under High and Main Street and out into the Farmington River. They had done work for this vegetated area that's immediately adjacent to the road in the winter to remove invasive species. So they were in and did a handwork and say late winter, early spring in the March, April area. And now they are back in front of the commission to install or recreate, I should say, a historic stone dust trail. So this is separate from the sunken garden. There is a historic stone dust trail. So while the property is in the historic district, obviously it's not visible from Mountain Road. It's not visible from Main Street. So the thought was to inform the commission of this work so that you're aware of this. The intent on the Hillstead's part is to start to do some of these improvements, and then ultimately they would like to recreate the trail, some of these photos. So this is the existing photo.
All right, clear that.
So there's field stone wall.
Yeah.
And a secondary field stone wall, but some of this was overgrown. And so they're now embarking on trying, right, you can only, with a property of this size, can only tackle so many pieces at once, so.
They recently cleared that, I think.
Well, correct, so that's what I said, they did the invasive species work and removal and vegetative management earlier this year. And so now what they'd like to do is recreate some of the stone dust trails. And I've got another set of photos that they submitted. These are the historical walking garden photos.
Oh.
So obviously this is quite an undertaking. So it is, this is just at its infancy. Their thought is they would like to get some of the stone dust trails in and then use that as a catalyst for some of the fundraising that would be needed to start to recreate this garden to the extent that they can. So again, I'm letting you know so that there's a general awareness of this. Obviously, it sounds like the Hillstead will be embarking on a much more robust fundraising program for this endeavor, and did want to make you aware, since it is a historic property in the historic district, but given its proximity and limited view shed, it's not checking the boxes for needing a temporary certificate of appropriateness.
What does the green represent? The green line?
The green line, yeah, Mr. Sears, let's see here. We've got grass natural pathways. So
Okay.
that's going to be a grass pathway, and the red is a stone dust pathway.
Okay. All right.
And most of that is technically within a wetland area. So
Yeah.
there's historic wetlands that have been marked, and there's a culvert crossing. It crosses somewhere in this vicinity.
Thank you.
Generally speaking, is that going to be handicap accessible? Do they think?
Most, I would have to say no unless they are going, because you won't be able to access it from the roadway. There is with the stone walls, and there's a grade differential, so you can see the contour lines
Yeah.
here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the very, I'll call it north end. There's a 5 to 6 foot grade differential. As you start to come down the roadway, that grade differential dissipates, and the stone wall is still there. The stone wall also starts to dissipate. You can see that in the photos. It's as you get closer to the Hillstead, the building, the stone wall heightens and becomes more prominent. The only way, if they were to consider ADA accessibility, my guess is it would have to come in through the sunken garden. And I'll be honest, I don't know if the sunken garden is ADA accessible.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
No.
Curious.
So at some point, some of the naturalized trails and because of the age of the building, there are some exemptions. Unfortunately, I think they try to do their best in the areas that they can. But yeah, I'm not sure. But my thought would be the only way to access it would be to come up through the sunken garden.
Yeah, I was just curious. Thank you.
Sure.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments about this? Okay, thanks, Shane.
You bet. Okay, I've got one more for you. The Riverside Cemetery, which is not a historic district property, but it is in the Farmington Center, so I thought there might be interest. I just wanted to briefly let you know that the Riverside Cemetery is repaving the entire cemetery. It'll be shut down for approximately 2 weeks, I think in September. All of the driveways are being repaved. The lower loop perimeter driveway is actually going to be widened by 2 to 4 feet. They have marked out the edge of the graves along this edge, so they know where that edge is. They're going to widen where they can a little bit to the east in order to gain some of that additional width. They're going to put a Cape Cod berm in on the east side. On the west side, on the river side, there will be a 2-foot stone trench for runoff. So we are going to get rid of the concentrated flow locations. There are a number of leak-offs that are concentrating flow, but with that, we are creating some erosion gouges in the embankment, and it's starting to become problematic. So at both the north and south ends, the driveway comes down, there's an incline. The curb will continue around those curbs. So the curb is going to stay here on this outside edge, come around the curve. There's a sanitary sewer manhole roughly in this vicinity. The curb will continue just past that sanitary sewer manhole, dive down, and then there'll be a more robust riprap apron. So any of the stormwater flow off the driveway will have that riprap apron. The balance of the area from the north corner to the south corner will have that 2-foot 2-foot stone area. It'll help with runoff. They also intend it to be a pull-off area for parking. And with the wider pavement area plus the 2 foot of stone, it'll allow for some parking and still allow other vehicles to pass by. So that if someone is visiting a relative or for a funeral, there's the ability to pull off more safely than they have the ability to now, and in a more organized fashion and in a more designated area. So those are some of the improvements that are coming up. They have met with us a multiple of times, both at the office and then at the site. They met with Bruce and I and our Director of Public Works, Russ Arnold. So it's now in with inland wetlands for permitting because of all of the amount of the work within the proximity to the river. It did warrant a permit with the Inland Wetlands Commission.
Are they gonna pave over or dig the road up?
So the road is gonna be ground. Yeah, they're gonna grind it up because it's broken up so much. They're gonna have to grind it up and then repave.
When they redid sidewalks along that cemetery, what was that last year? They dumped the cement that they replaced on that each side of the riverbank. They were dumping blacks. Was there a reason for that?
I'm not certain. I believe they removed some of those. I
Okay.
believe some of them are removed. The ones that they could remove. Yes.
Oh, okay.
There's debris they dump too.
Yes, that's been
Yeah, well,
addressed, and some
but
of
they were
the
taking-
spoils from the grave sites have been traditionally
Hmm.
dumped there as well. So that was part of having our director involved, so that
Yeah.
we are now going to take some of that material and we can use it. So they're gonna call us now, and when there's whatever, a stockpile material, either they will load it or we will load it, but we will take it to the quarry And
They dumped it where the picket fence is, on the other side of that picket fence. Oh, I don't know how many they ended up replacing, what, 6 or 7?
yeah,
panels,
we
whatever.
have
Yeah,
spoken to them. At the same time, too, there are others apparently that, so as part of some of this work, I believe they intend to install some security cameras because they have random dumping that comes down. So some of it is them, some of it is offsite apparently. So we have, that was part of the comprehensive discussion that took place.
yeah, that's probably good. I mean, I can see where it has its nuisance traction.
Correct.
I kind of figured sooner or later, somebody would address that quote unquote area where dirt is stockpiled on the river bank, because I know that's easy to go down into the river.
Correct.
But, yeah, okay, good.
Anybody else? Any other questions or comments? The other thing I'll say is, if people aren't aware, that's actually where the Farmington Canal went some years ago before my time, but not that many. They
Right there.
regraded all that and they filled in the old canal bed and made it into additional part of the cemetery. So unfortunately that was lost, but that's what we have there now. But also was at one time the Indian burial ground, and that's why you've got the Indian monument down there. If you've seen the Indian monument, the Red Cliffs film, when they dug the canal, they found some of the Indian relics. Supposedly that's where they reinterred some of that underneath the marker. But anyway, all right.
Okay. So again, just
with that-
FYI, so that when you see it dug up and quite a bit of activity, that's what's
I
going on.
miss my Monday, Wednesday walks. What am I gonna do?
You're gonna have to find a new loop for 2 weeks.
Keep going, one of those.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Go there.
Okay, is that it for the staff report?
No, sir, I've got one other thing for you. So you had emailed with a request and I have some information for you. Historic district properties. So Garrett did his magic with our GIS. Jay had sent a side email curious on the number of historic district properties, both for Farmington and Unionville, and then also the numbers of structures in each. So we have 189 parcels in the Farmington Historic District. And there are approximately 313 buildings, and those are any buildings that are greater than 200 square feet. So we wouldn't really be able to track something if there was a smaller shed or something. So, and then Unionville Historic District, 41 parcels and 53 structures. So Garrett has that. I can send you, he's got a list actually. The historic district, the Farmington Historic District one was easy to populate Excel spreadsheet list. So I can send that to you. The Unionville Historic District is a little more, the database was set up differently. The imaging was done differently, so we can't populate that as readily. If it's something that you think you'd need, then we can certainly get that done. It would just take a little bit of time to do so.
I really appreciate that. What kind of drove my question was I happened to be reading, I don't know if people do, on the website, there's a pamphlet that's scanned and available if you go to the Farmington Historic District or the Historic District's website. It's guidelines. There was something done back in the 80s maybe, and it gives a little history of the district. And when they started, and this was Bob Donald, Scotty Donald, they had 115 parcels. So I think that's pretty impressive that it's more than doubled in size. And I think that's a testament to people currently on this and the people that have been on the historic districts to continue to see the value and preservation and build this out. And I know we continue to do it. I would encourage people if they have ideas for properties that might make sense to add, to do that as well. But that's really what was driving that. And I think it's important we know that, and if you can let people know, but I think it's what makes Farmington such a special place, is the value that we put on that and the continued efforts to preserve as much as possible. So thank you for doing it.
Absolutely. And that's it.
So with that, the last item on the agenda is the approval of the May 20th, let's say 20th minutes. I put them, they look okay to me. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
I'll make a
Second.
motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
And I got a second already before the motion. Any discussions or comments, changes, edits? No. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are passed and meeting adjourned. Thank you.